Now, Jamie Carragher believes that Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has a week to save his job. Liverpool have lost 9 of their last 12 games. They take on West Ham on Sunday. That's followed by a home game against Sunderland, then a trip to Leeds next week. Well, we asked former Premier League striker Jay Bothroyd if he agrees with Carragher's comments.
Yes, I would say, because of the opposition, and there's no disrespect to the opposition, especially Sunderland playing very well. Obviously West Ham picked up a few good results of late, but I feel like now they need to get 9 points, really. They really need to get 9 points, but I think the hierarchy at Liverpool would accept 7, but it's just terrible times for Liverpool right now, and I think it's more the way they're playing football, the manner in their conceding goals. We all spoke about how good Virgil van Dijk is and Konate last year. Yes, they've made signings, they brought in Kirkes, but ultimately they're so far off what they were last year, and I think that's the worrying thing now for the hierarchy and for the Liverpool fans.
Liverpool remain committed to re-signing Ibrahima Konate if terms can be agreed. Konate's deal runs out at the end of the season. He is expected to explore his options in January when he's free to speak to foreign clubs. Real Madrid have been amongst the teams interested in signing the Frenchman on a free transfer, but there are reports today that the interest is subsiding. All things looking a little bit brighter for West Ham at the moment outside of the relegation zone, and there you go, 3 games without defeat, including back-to-back home wins. Can they make it 3 in a row on Sunday against the champions Liverpool? Nuno Espirito Santo beat Liverpool last season with Nottingham Forest. Can he do it again with West Ham in a couple of days' time? Here he is now.
Hello, Chris.
Just start with some team news.
Yeah.
A couple of players who were out last weekend. One, Somerville, who was a bit of a surprise, and then Mavropanos. So have they been training this week, close to making it?
Yeah. Both of them are getting better. Still tomorrow to assess.
Okay. The game against Liverpool, I think everyone's been very surprised at their form this season, just because they were champions last season, now losing 6 of the last Premier League games. What have you made of what's happened to them?
What I made is that it is a good team, and in football what matters is what you do in the day. So what we expect is the champions of the Premier League, players that talented and capable of doing good things. So we have to get ready.
Andy Robertson, he gave a really emotional interview after the Scotland game where he mentioned his friend Diogo Jota, who passed away, someone you knew really well. I just wanted to ask, how have you coped with that, the loss of him this season?
Everybody it's been difficult. Every time we remember about Diogo, it's always the good memories, and we miss them. We miss him a lot.
Thank you for answering that. You're playing at home again this weekend. I think beforehand, earlier in the season, West Ham at home would bring a lot of nerves. I think you mentioned that word, nervous, but because of the last 2 results, are the players going in now with more confidence and more excited about playing at the London Stadium?
I think so. It's been good at the London Stadium. Our fans have been supportive. Always say it's up to us to try and deliver. But again, I say to you, Chris, it's football is the day, is what you do. What you did before doesn't really matter anymore. So Sunday is again a new challenge for us.
Callum Wilson scored the 2 goals, but then he was substituted on the weekend. Can you just give us the thinking behind that substitution? I know substitutions are always interesting for managers because sometimes you'll get them right, sometimes maybe you'll think you get them wrong, but what was your assessment now of that substitution?
Something that I think the team needed, but overall looking at the game in Bournemouth, I think it's a good point. It's a good point I achieved. We had a chance to look at the game, see. It's a tough place to go. And I think the players realize how hard it's going to be, the way they work. And in the end, it's a positive. It was a positive game for us.
Obviously, it took him a little while to settle in here, just in terms of injuries and getting into the team. But to score 2 on the weekend, obviously, I guess was fantastic for you. He's spoken himself about wanting to get into the England squad. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's wonderful that he's challenged himself to achieve such a major individual goal. I hope he succeeds, but yes, to do it and keep scoring for us. Hope we continues.
Welcome back. Now, just a few weeks ago, a visit from Liverpool might have been West Ham's nightmare fixture, but with the reigning Premier League champions in a bit of freefall, could Nuno Espirito Santo make it 4 games unbeaten? Well, Chris Reedy joins us now ahead of Nuno's press conference. And Chris, does this suddenly actually seem like a very winnable game for West Ham?
Yeah, Joe, look, I think you'd have to say yes. And I think you're really right to say a few weeks ago it looked like a nightmare fixture, because after defeats against Brentford and Leeds, West Ham's run of fixtures was Newcastle, Burnley, Bournemouth and then Liverpool. And to be honest, nobody could see the sort of run that they would go on after that to obviously get the 2 wins, especially at home against Newcastle and Burnley, where the form had been so bad. We know how impressive Bournemouth have been in the last couple of seasons as well. So to get that 2-2 draw was a really good result on paper. And like you said, Liverpool in that sort of run of upcoming fixtures at home looked like a real nightmare fixture. But if you combine West Ham's form with the real poor form of Liverpool, it does look like a real winnable game. And I think that just going unbeaten has been so good for West Ham. And the form of a couple of players I want to highlight as well today is Freddie Potts. He made his first start against Newcastle and this just looks so more solid in that midfield since he's come into the team. I spoke to him actually a couple of days ago in an interview that's going to go out tomorrow on Soccer Saturday pre-match, and he mentioned the fight that West Ham have had, and he's really brought that fight into the team himself. And the other player I want to mention is Callum Wilson, who obviously got those 2 goals against Bournemouth. I think his introduction back into the team has been crucial, just in terms of the goals he's got. But you can see the sort of character and the influence that he has on those younger players like Potts. And again, that's another thing he mentioned in that interview with me this week. A little bit of context though on the Bournemouth game, I think is important to say. On paper, you see it and you think, oh, West Ham were a bit unlucky there to draw 2-2, but actually they hung on a lot, and Alphonse Areola made a lot of good saves in that game. Bournemouth might have felt they were a bit unlucky not to get more of a result there, but like I said, it's a real fantastic run that West Ham have gone on, and a couple of good stats for West Ham going into this game. Liverpool have lost their 5 last Premier League visits to London, and Nuno Espirito Santo is unbeaten in his 2 managerial meetings against Arne Slot, winning both of them against Nottingham Forest against Liverpool last season. One key thing I think we to ask Nuno today will be the fitness of Crescencio Somerville. We know how Liverpool struggled in the fullback positions this year, and his pace I feel could really trouble Liverpool if he is fit. So we'll be speaking to Nuno about all of that from about 1:30, and what I have to say is West Ham's fantastic brand new media facility today. So yeah, looking forward to speaking to Nuno here from about 1:30, Joe.
Great stuff, Chris. Thank you very much.